Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 122 days away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film, at the end of the day, is going to answer many of the burning questions from The Force Awakens, as well as creating new questions at the very beginning of this film that will ultimately be answered at the very end of this movie in order to really make it resonate with Star Wars fans around the world. And on top of all of this, I really do believe that one of the most exciting aspects of Episode 9 is how George Lucas is heavily involved with, of course, the actual Episode 9 project, The Rise of Skywalker, and how he was really a major part of this movie. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the big plans by Disney and Lucasfilm, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that it's described that during the rewrites of the film for the months of November and December of 2018 is when George Lucas was significantly involved with the rewrites of the second and third acts of the movie, where it's explained that George Lucas was the one directly responsible for crafting a new Darth Vader suit for some of the flashbacks and visions, as well as for the flash fights. It said that George also was heavily involved with the rewriting process in writing and dialogue for Palpatine, portrayed by Ian McDiarmid, and that George created a version of Palpatine that fans have never seen before that will take them by surprise. Now, additionally, it's explained that George Lucas was also suggested to bring in a return of the iconic location of Yavin 4 into the flash fights for the third act of the film, where both Rey and Kylo Ren will fight on top of the Mausasi Temple, as well as George bringing in a return of Coruscant. Lucas was also participating in how the de-aging process would actually take place on Mark Hamill as a character, and how the technology would be used on Hamill to create a far younger version of Luke Skywalker in the form of flashbacks. Lucas was also involved with the writing of the final frames of the movie. The last shot of Episode 9 was said to have been directed by Lucas himself, where throughout the second and third acts he allows many actors and actresses to improvise their dialogue to create authentic and relatable Star Wars characters. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because we do know that Episode 9, at the end of the day, is a very important film to Disney and Lucasfilm. They're really trying to course correct the sequel trilogy, and that really is going to be a very hard thing to perform unless they do it very right and they actually get everything pretty much on point for the Star Wars fans. So, George Lucas, let me say one thing here. I think that the reason as to why a lot of fans have a lot of, I guess you could say, hype for this movie is because George Lucas is attached to it. The other reason, of course, is that Palpatine really is the glue of this movie. He really is the driving force of the hype of Episode 9. There's no denying that. When fans heard the laughter of Palpatine at the very end of that trailer, it really made the trailer, in my opinion. Without that Palpatine laughter, I'm not quite sure exactly how the trailer would actually compare, or how the feedback would be in comparison how if it didn't have the Palpatine laughter. We would have to wait and see. So with that being said, we do know that George Lucas now was the one directly responsible for actually directing and writing the last shot of Episode 9, as well as creating a brand new Darth Vader suit for the flash fights, the visions, and the flashbacks, etc. Now, this makes a lot of sense because we actually heard about the Darth Vader scenes for months on end now actually being used in Episode 9, and how Darth Vader, is going to be a major part of this movie in the form of a figurative ghost for Kylo Ren, as well as in the forms of flashbacks and everything around those lines. The fact that George Lucas created a brand new Darth Vader suit could very well also allude to the hybrid Force Ghost version of Darth Vader. Now, on top of all of this, we do know that Lucas, he was heavily involved with the rewriting process of the second and third acts of this movie. I love how he brought back the worlds of Yavin 4 and, of course, Coruscant, and what they're really trying to do with these flash fights in Episode 9. Now, like I say, there's a lot of mixed reactions on the flash fights and whether or not they really are a good or a bad thing for the Star Wars franchise. The flash fights, they are essentially a way by Disney and Lucasfilm to really bring them down a trip to memory lane and to really give us a big piece of nostalgia in a short amount of time during Rey and Kylo's lightsaber duel within the third act of Episode 9. And that, I gotta say, I mean, it really is a big deal. It's all a matter of how it's going to be executed and organized, and how it's all going to be edited, and how it's going to be shot on the big screen. That's going to be a major player in how, the flash fights are going to be perceived by the fans and how it's going to resonate with everybody around the entire world. So George Lucas, I really do trust him and his work and how he worked alongside with J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. The fact that we had 3 people working on this thing, I think really is a great thing for Episode 9. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them MAULS again.